In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. Welcome to another edition of Jock Brothers Presents Let Us Make Man. I am your host and moderator, Brother Jackie Muhammad, and we have for you a dynamic show for you today. We want to thank you, Jock Nation, for tuning in. We want to thank you for your support, your continued support, and your continued encouragement. So we have a dynamic show for you tonight. If you have members of your family who may have estate planning issues, estate planning questions, questions of generational wealth, this is your show. So before we get to our guests, I would like to introduce to some and present to others the dynamic brothers who are also a part of Jock Brothers, uh, well-loved brothers, well-traveled brothers,
Fearless.
hard-working brothers,
Fearless.
fearless brothers, go get us.
Yeah.
So I just like to introduce my comrades in this struggle. First one up, our brother from New York. He's now Southern now. He has that Southern drawl. He's no longer New York at all. So I would like to welcome our brother Ahmed B.I. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Alaikum salam. Alaikum salam. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, most merciful. We thank you all for joining on with us this evening. We have a great show for you today. I was just talking to my son and my nephews. They're in their 20s, getting ready to start their financial planning, their financial future. And I'm able to instill a little knowledge and information. After this show, we're going to have another meeting, business meeting, so I can start passing down this generational knowledge to create generational wealth. I'm excited. I'm ready. Let's go, bud, Jackie.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So our next brother who's going to take us further into the information, a good brother, family man, real estate guru, and among other things. So let's welcome our brother Abdul Kawi Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam, sir. Assalamu alaikum, family. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Jock Brothers. This is a show right here that could truly elevate you to the next level and elevate your family to the next level. So I look forward to this show a whole lot. This is a conversation I had many times with my personal family, my immediate family, but we never really got into this type of discussion before. So I hope you enjoy this show as much as I will. And, of course, to the Jock Nation, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for supporting us, especially those that have been there from day one and really the ones that are supporting us now. So thank you, Jock Nation. And for those that have donated to our platform, man, words can express how much we appreciate the financial donation that you have supported us with. And we hope that you continue with that. And if you do want to continue to supporting the Jock Brothers and our continued growth, please, the information is scrolling at the bottom of the screen. You can simply cash app us. $ Jock Bros, $ JAKQBROS. Once again, due to the diligent work of both these brothers, Brother Jackie Muhammad and Brother Ahmed B.I., man, we put together a beautiful show that requires your help because we want to get this information out to as many people as possible. So please, share your show. Share this to everybody. Ask them to subscribe to Jock Brothers. And, of course, hit the bell so you can get our upcoming events. With no further ado, again, you can look at the YouTube page and go Jock Brothers. JAKQBROTHER, to spell the whole word. And of course, again, share this show. Thank you. No further ado, back to you, Brother Jackie.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So coming up, Jock Nation, we have our brother who is a part of a law firm, the law offices of India Y. Ali. She's not available at the moment, but our brother Ishmael Muhammad is covering down on their behalf. So he does a presentation, or they do a presentation on life and legacy planning. specifically discussing strategies for building generational wealth, including the what, the why, and the how of asset protection, and why young professionals should be thinking about this now. Key topics are trust, life insurance, taxes, and wills, is what they specialize in. The law office of India Y. Ali is a private law office that specializes in life and legacy planning with the primary focus on revocable living trusts and life insurance. The firm has virtual office in Georgia, Texas, and its other practice areas, including personal injury, real estate. Attorney Ali received her Juris Doctorate and MBA from North Carolina Central University School of Law in 2013 and has been practicing law ever since. With the help of her husband, Ishmael Muhammad, the executive director of the firm, Attorney Ali launched her own practice in 2019. Together, they co-manage the firm and are on a mission to help Black families secure their legacies and preserve wealth for generations, which is big. So, Jock Nation, we want to welcome our guests, and we want to present to some and introduce to others our brother, your brother, Brother Ishmael Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum, sir. Welcome to the Jock Nation.
Thank you so much, man. All those introductions, man. I feel like I have to bring the energy now, man. Y'all brought the energy up, man.
No, brother.
This is in the name of Allah, the merciful benefactor, merciful redeemer. Assalamu alaikum to everybody in Jock Nation. Thank you for having me, and thank you for the brothers that came and got me out of the conference. It's like, hey, look, we need you. when can y'all come? We need you on the show. So I appreciate y'all persistence in doing that. Like you said, brother Jackie, it's our mission. You know, we are a mission-based law firm. Our mission is exactly that, to make every family we come in contact with, a black or brown family we come in contact with. We want to make sure that they have financial freedom and generational wealth for their families. We really believe that. That's what our mission is, and that's what we do on a day in and day out basis.
Yes, sir. We'll want to start there. As children of slaves, you know, we came out of slavery with around 4 million acres of land, and we in the Nation of Islam is taught that land is the basis of wealth. So now, you know, that's been the topic on a lot of social media platform, is how do we establish generational wealth? You know, how do we establish it? And that's one of the things you find, that most people are trying to find different streams of income, and that's the word is used, generational wealth. What is, in your terms, you know, because you teach it, what is generational wealth? What does it look like?
Well, generational wealth, it looks like assets that are attached to wisdom, instructions, and guidelines that cannot be interrupted. That's generational wealth. Most people think assets alone is generational wealth, but we know that wealth transfers and wealth is lost. If you look at our communities in mass, the only community that is gentrified is our community, because we fail to plan. We have the assets, but unfortunately we fail to plan for the life cycle of that asset. And after a while, the asset is then lost from our family to other people's families. So when I told you, we were talking offline, and I was telling you, most of our social ills will be remedied by just planning for our assets and passing down the best knowledge and applicable knowledge to our children and their grandchildren and so on and so forth. And what a trust allows one person to do is just that. Right? It allows them to pass down their assets and their best wisdom, their best thoughts, their best blueprints down generations to come. What happens with our families a lot is that every generation is starting over. Yeah. Every generation is starting over. Every generation is figuring it out, right? There's nothing, there's no North Star, so to speak. There's no guidelines, there's no framework. There's no blueprint
Mm.
that is tried and true that cannot be tinkered with, right? And so back to your question, what is generational wealth? It's just that. Once one person figures it out, there's no other figuring it out when it comes to my generational wealth. And so it only takes one to be successful. And what a trust allows you to do is to codify, frame that, and then pass that system down for generations to come. So it's
Okay. No, I mean, brother, because I want to make sure that our listening audience understand, because I believe, I mean, for me, it's language barriers.
Mhm.
Just hearing the word trust, is new. It's it's since COVID. All of these different things we've been learning since COVID. But I've heard of will, and that's normally because of a movie. I've never received anything by will, so I don't know. I just want to make sure that our language is concurrent with what's going on. So, is there a difference between a will and a trust?
Yeah, so there's 3 ways you can pass down your assets. There's a last will and testament. That's one. We've known that for a long time. Last will and testament. There's no will at all. How most of us pass away is no will at all.
Right. Yes, sir.
And so, then there's a trust. So let me go back to the first one. A last will and testament is basically you stating your intentions or what's to happen to your assets. That's all you're doing. You're stating your intentions. You're going to get 2 witnesses and a notary. After you write it down on a sheet of paper, type it, or get something offline. You're going to state your intentions of what you want to happen after you pass away.
Yes, sir.
There's no enforcement with that. There's no hey, I want you to take this insurance policy, and I want you to make sure that my grandchildren have enough money for college. But that's just an intention. That's a wish. There's no enforcement behind that. So,
okay. So there's no enforcement behind a will.
No, it's what we call an outright distribution, right? So, if you state your intentions about what you want to happen to your stuff, you put it on a sheet of paper, you notarize it, put it in your top drawer until you pass away. Your family finds the will, and then actually that will does nothing. It's just a guideline or your intentions that you then have to take to the probate court in order for the probate court judge to sign off on it. A dead person cannot transfer a title. Therefore, so the substitute for that is a judge's signature, thus probate court.
Yes, sir.
So if you die with everything in your name, you cannot transfer a title. That title cannot be transferred because you were the last person that owned it. And so now you have to go to probate court and get the judge's signature to transfer a title. But we all know there's an 18 to 24-month process in probate court. So now all your assets are in what we call suspended animation. Nobody really owns it. We're waiting on the probate court to play itself out. And the probate court is based on state law. So it's a court process. Anybody can come and say, well, hey, I think he owed me some money. Or if you have adversarial siblings, or they might be at loggerheads with each other. So that has to be played out in court as well. All those things have to be played out in court. All the while, no one owns your stuff. Your assets are depreciating. The taxes are going up, and expenses for court is going up. And by the end of that process, you have, on average, every family loses about 40% of their assets just going through the probate court process.
When you said about having the will in your drawer, now most times when we see movies and things like that, the lawyer or the law firm calls the family, and the lawyer goes over the assets and the distribution of funds. In that case, could we assume that it was a trust involved when the lawyer is actually handling the business?
No, no, and that's the movies. So,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And so it's a play, right? So they saying it's a will, but in that situation, it's not. And we'll get to that point, like the processes of each, right?
Okay. Yes.
But for our community, I don't know if anybody did that. In our
top kitchen drawer.
Well, they're trying to find it. They still looking for it, Not only that, the one, the one who finds it is the one that actually is looked at suspiciously because they might have forged that thing.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, bro.
So nobody in our community is like going to the law firm and reading the will out and all that good stuff, right? That's
Yes.
kind of like a past. That's something of the past. However, with that being something of the past, a will is usually going to be found. It's going to be out of date, and the family will find it and they'll take it to the courthouse to probate it. If they can find it. Once it's in the probate process, it's really going through that process. It's open court. Got to get a probate attorney. We do probate administration as well, and it's going to be an 18, 24-month process at the most. And if the person has property in multiple states or multiple counties, it could be multiple probates.
Wow.
And just imagine if you're a husband and a wife, the husband predeceases the wife, that's a probate. Then when the wife dies, that's another probate.
Wow.
And if they have multiple properties in multiple states, multiple probates. Because every state has certain laws, it's state law. So if you got a property in New York, a property in Georgia, you got to have probates in both.
Oh, yes, sir.
But wouldn't a will solve that problem instead of it going to probate?
All wills go through probate court.
Oh, wills go through probate.
All wills go through probate. All wills go through probate court.
And that's mainly because a dead person cannot transfer anything. So
Exactly.
a will is a dead article, basically.
Right. It's called, we call it a backward looking document. So it's after the fact of your death. You're not, so most people are like, I ain't gonna be here anyway, so let them figure it out. But if you're really talking about financial freedom and generational wealth, that's not the tool to use.
Yes,
now,
sir.
wills do have their place in some capacity, right?
Mm-hmm.
In some capacity, they can be useful. However, if your desired goal is to have financial freedom and create generational wealth, that's not the tool for it, because we've been using wills, last wills and testaments, insurance policies with wills, and we see our community is not, our families are not moving the needle at all when it comes to financial freedom.
But before we got questions popping in now. But
Well, hold on. Don't ask that question yet.
No, I'm not going to ask that question. I got another question.
Go ahead.
Let me ask you this, I'm see, brother Ishmael, right?
Yes, sir.
Why in your opinion, do you think wills became so popular? Why wills became such the go-to document for people that was trying to, I guess, make sure their family was secure after they passed?
Okay, I'm gonna give you it's a couple of answers for that. One, a will. Well, let me give the answer from our point of view. Most attorneys do not specialize in estate planning. It's just something that they do. So if you specialize in estate planning, we specialize in trust-based estate planning. That's what we do. That's what we know. And we have we have credentials from Wealth Counsel, NLBM. We are accredited personal family attorneys. So we really went above and beyond the just law degrees, and we also have sought out specialized learning when it came to estate planning. So some attorneys, well, I shouldn't say so, most attorneys that do estate planning do it as an add-on to their practice. So a will is a 2 to 3 page document, maybe 4, right? It's easy. So if you come to me and say, if I'm your personal injury attorney, and then you say, well, hey, I need to get a will done too. Well, I can do that too. That's no problem. But I don't specialize in estate planning, but I can definitely do it as an attorney.
Yes.
Right. And so what we tell most of our clients is that, if you have, some heart palpitations, you don't go to a dentist. They're both doctors, but you won't go to a dentist for your heart issue.
Right.
So you need to go to a specialist. Most people get wills because it's low-hanging fruit for an attorney that's a general practice attorney to kind of like fill in the blanks of somebody's will. And so it's really, and so that's one part. The second part is really it's a cheap fix to a major problem. What I mean by that is, you can get a will offline. Everybody's been doing, so I'm just gonna get my will together. I'm, write it down, and most people don't understand what they're doing is really losing 40% of their assets by getting a will. They're also not really doing the planning that they think they're doing because the will has to go through probate court, and they're not answering the most glaring problems when it comes to their family. They're not answering the most the problems that a will will bring, which is outright distributions. So it's a little bit of ignorance on behalf of the families, but also a little ignorance on behalf of those who've given them advice. Well, a lot of ignorance on that part as well.
Yes, sir.
People really just don't know, so they've been doing the same thing over and over again. But we've had with the pandemic, especially with the pandemic, a lot of our friends and families were passing away in a short period of time. Usually, most attorneys are, you don't have a lot of your clients passing away. But what we noticed is that all our clients had the same issues. Life insurance policies going to the ex-wife, retirement benefits, not being no beneficiary on it. Maybe somebody may have got remarried, moved in with someone with their children, but they never. So if the new spouse passed away, the children were still in the house with the new wife and their children. Right.
Yes,
and
sir.
so we were seeing all kind of problems that our community and the families that we know were not planning for, and these were just showing up during the pandemic because there was such a high rate of death in our communities.
Mm.
Yes,
And so now we see the death and the grieving, but we also see the aftermath of people not planning, even though they thought they had a will, they had some life insurance, they might have had retirement. But these things were not updated because life was just kept coming at people, right? And so we never took the time to update all our stuff. We just never updated.
Yes, sir.
But you can have that same issue with a trust as well. Just not updating it every so often, correct? And life still hits you, correct?
Right. So not you won't have that problem if you hire us. You're not
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good answer.
you don't have that problem at all. So our business model is this. We switched our whole business model. We're not a traditional law firm. Our law firm literally caters to our families in our community. We looked at our families and community and said, okay, the basic model for practicing law when it comes to trust-based estate planning, it does not speak to us, period.
Yes, sir.
So most trust-based estate planning attorneys are transactional, meaning that, hey, look, call me up, give me your information, I'm gonna give you back a trust book. You take the trust book back. This is the trust book. So this is a trust book right here. I'm not gonna show the people name, but this is a trust book right here. It's about 300 pages in the trust book. We're gonna get that back to you. This is a regular attorney. We're gonna get this back to you based on what you asked us to do. And you're gonna take that and put it in your top drawer. That does nothing for your family. What we do the trust book. So once you hire us, let's say y'all hire us, we work for you, and now we work for your beneficiaries as well. Our job is to transfer wealth and also transfer the knowledge of how to work a trust from you to your beneficiaries. If your beneficiaries are not knowledgeable of what they have coming to them and are not knowledgeable of what a trust is, we did you a disservice, because it does you no good to get a trust and your beneficiaries don't know how to use it. They're gonna lose the stuff again.
Yes, sir.
And so with us, you hire us, you get our firm for at least an entire year.
Mm.
trust book. We have quarterly meetings. Every quarter, we have a meeting with your family. You and your beneficiaries or any stakeholders that you bring to the table. We go over your list. We go over your assets of inventory of assets owned. These are the assets that you are being a steward of until you get them to your beneficiaries. The way you get them, the assets to your beneficiaries is through trust. So they got to understand that. Secondly, they have to understand that they are the beneficiaries, and if you want them to qualify to receive the assets in trust, they need to understand what their qualifications need to be. So we're educating the entire family about generational wealth, because it's not generational unless you pass it down. Everybody has to be as educated as the one that made it, and the one that's getting it has to be educated as well. So you have quarterly meetings. We will facilitate, after we do your trust, we will then facilitate the 4 quarterly meetings. A quarterly meeting is really a family meeting. So we get the trust, open up the trust, look at the inventory of assets owned. We talk about the assets owned, if any changes have been made from quarter 1 to quarter 2. We discuss family strategy moving forward, if we're going to acquire some more properties or we're going to accumulate some more wealth. If any of your beneficiaries have been acting untowards you and you decide to write them out, you write them out. If you decide to change up the percentages, you change them up. So this is an ongoing process. We often say the way your legacy is the way your life was lived. So yes, if we are maintaining your trust, your stuff, your estate on a quarterly basis, your legacy will reflect that. Will be organized. Your children will be able to pass your baton to your beneficiaries. Now keep on chopping down the road. Just that simple. So
yes, after I educate my family, that's all I'm threatening them. All my threats are that. I'm gonna write you out.
And not only that, the quarterly meetings are for you to audition whomever you decide to be your successor trustees and your beneficiaries. You're auditioning them to see they make the meeting on time. Do they understand? Are they picking up the knowledge? Because you're going to be putting them in roles of responsibility. Hey, look, I want you to be my successor trustee, which is basically a manager of the assets in the trust. Now, if they can't make the meetings on time, we're not going to say anything, but we're going to look at you like, this is the person that's going to be managing your stuff when you're gone.
Yes.
So, are you sure?
That's part of qualifications that you said earlier, that they meet the qualifications?
Yeah, they got to meet your qualifications because it's your stuff that they're going to be managing.
Right.
We're just going to set it up and we're giving you the environment so you can start auditioning them to make sure they're going to be good stewards of the family trust.
I know what you're saying, man. That's big, bro. Okay, so now we meet for that first year that we hire you on, and we for that first year we meet and whatnot, but we don't pass. No one dies, right? Mm-hmm. So now after that, say 10 years later, is it during the 10 years if you accumulate more properties, more, so we should come back to the table and adjust the trust. Is that correct? How does that work?
So the quarterly meetings are lasting forever. They're not going away.
Okay.
We're going to facilitate the first 4 for you and your family to see how it's supposed to go.
Yes, sir.
Now, if your beneficiary is not stepping up saying, okay, look, I got the next meeting.
Oh, okay. That's how it goes.
Everything that they're supposed to be getting. So I give you an example. I talk about my daughter all the time. My daughter is 16 years old now. She started coming to my trust meetings at 14. She is a trust specialist now. She knows how to read my inventory of assets owned. She knows how much money she's supposed to have in trust by the time she's 25, 30, 35. She's not letting me miss a meeting. So she really can run the meetings by herself at this point in time. Because now, and we want your family to be the same way. Okay, this is what it's supposed to be. If something happens, we're just talking about assets at the moment, but we'll talk about the other aspects of what we call ancillary documents and things in your estate. But just the assets alone, right? We know that so we're reviewing if the life insurance has been paid, and it's if it's a term life policy, when does it sunset? If you have whole life policies, make sure they've been paid for that quarter. We're making sure that if you have a mortgage on your property, it's been paid down. We're looking at any other assets that may be appreciating. Then we kind of doing projections on those. We're making sure that there's no encumbrances or any threats to your beneficiary's inheritance. So that's what we're doing every 3 months, right?
Yes.
So and if your life changes, divorce, death, and things like that, we've already been meeting and expecting these things and what will happen after those things happen. For instance, if you have aging parents, right? So we know every 3 months we're meeting. Your aging parents, if the natural things of life happen, you will bury your aging parents. So now we'll be looking harder during the quarterly meetings as your parents age, what inheritance is coming down to your trust. And then we're making sure that you're going to inherit cleanly or at the maximum amount when that time comes. And so families were family. So I go back to this. Family is first. The family dynamic is first. That's what we're going to look at. We're going to look at one generation up. Your mom, your dad, if you're married, both sets of parents, right? We're looking at that because we got to make a plan around that, right? Okay, if the older they get, the more they're going to rely on us. And then if they have homes, life insurance, assets, we want to make sure those things are coming to us without encumbrances, without being encumbered, right? And then we look at wife, husband, wife. Most of the time, you're not going to, couples don't die at the same time. So if I predecease my wife, right, and we've accumulated all these assets, you want to make sure those assets stay for your beneficiary, for you and your wife's agreed upon beneficiaries. It's huge. I'm going to repeat that again. If you and your wife have built a life and accumulated and acquired assets, y'all had children, and y'all agree upon the beneficiaries. If you predecease your wife and she gets remarried and those assets begin to disappear for the beneficiary. So basically, if you don't plan those things can actually, those benefits or those shares or that your estate can be whittled away at by a decision your wife decides to make after you passed away.
So in other words, I need to write this in the will. If I die first, give my house to my children.
So actually, the legal term for that is a bypass trust. So you and your wife go together, right?
Yes, sir.
So we'll say it's a bypass provision. Really, it's not a bypass trust. Forgive me for that. So you have a marital trust, and they say, okay, if one predeceases the other one, we'll have a bypass provision in the trust where it bypasses your wife and goes directly to your children. And then, of course, you're gonna leave some provisions for your wife. Now, I mean,
of course.
Yeah, but she's an individual at that point in time by herself. She can decide to move on with her, But
right. Exactly.
On with ain't none of this yours, bro.
right. That's true.
Just from a kid.
If my parents are giving me a hard time with having the conversation, I could call a family meeting and invite you to it. I call a family get together and we just have a family event and invite you to it to speak to the family in the whole.
Yeah, we do those quite often, actually. If you look at our social media, you'll see some of the things we posted. Some of the families that allowed us to post those events. Some families get creative with it. They do a Sunday brunch. Some families do, a dinner out, and we just come in and discuss it with family members, right? Usually, and we're really good at it, but there's nothing like getting it done yourself. And then bringing them on as an, hey, look, well, I got my trust now, mom and dad. I want just want you to know that if something happens to me before you guys pass, you guys will be my beneficiaries. And they're like, oh, really? So how does that work? And so that's how most people start the conversation, right? So it's a lot of ways to do it, but yes, we will do. We do come and speak to entire families. Actually, most of our clients are families. Like we may have gotten the brother and the sister, then we get the sister-in-law and her parents, then we get the aunt to uncle, and so we usually have like whole families that we are representing. Literally, like whole families, like that.
Let me ask you this, brother. I mean, I hear all the good stuff. So I got like two questions. One is, I mean, are there any disadvantages to a trust?
No.
No.
See, no. The reason why it's no disadvantage is because you know your family dynamic. You create the trust based on your family dynamic. You know everybody's personalities that you have to mitigate. You know which behaviors you have to incentivize. You know who's going to act a fool. You know who's going to steal the money. You know who's going to have undue influence on other people.
Right.
The beautiful thing about trust is it's a customized document that speaks to the problems or the personalities or the good for your family. You know, so it's not one size fits all. Your trust provisions are directly for your beneficiaries and for you.
Okay, so it's just saying. I'm not trying to be a difficult. I'm just really trying to understand. It sounds like the language within the trust has to be very nearly precise, so there be no misunderstanding. That's one. Two, is there? What if I guess a person would like to, I guess, change the? Is there a way the person could change the language? Maybe something like say you and your spouse had a conversation and they haven't had a chance to change anything in the trust. Now I'm gone, and she said, "Well, look, he wanted to change the language a little bit because this is what we discussed, and this is not what he want." Is there So is there anything in that regard that maybe the wife can do or your child can do in order to change the language a little bit? So one is how strict your language has to be. Two, can the language be changed after you pass?
So the best way to answer that is the way, and this is kind of part of the reason why we changed our business model to where we are meeting every 3 months in a family meeting, right? And so if you did a revocable living trust, you can change, if you and your wife did a revocable living trust, you can change the language as long as y'all live, right? And then if you decide to make the language conservative, or you can make the language very liberal, or you can make it based on a hybrid of both, to just depending on the asset.
Type of trust. I get you.
Yeah. So it's really no. The first thing we'll look at, the second thing we'll look at is all your assets that you leave, right? There's gonna be some assets that you have to have very strict, detailed language when it comes to how the beneficiaries are to receive that asset. It can be ages and stages. Say for instance, you leave $1 million life insurance policy. That needs to be very detailed language. So I'm leaving $1 million life insurance policy going into my trust for my 2 sons. You can only use this money if you're buying your property. You can use 5% to put down on the property. You can use another 10% for every 5th year. You can pull out 10% every 5th year until it's depleted. So that's detailed language. So nobody can change that language moving forward. Not your wife, not anybody, right? If the asset is if you're leaving something for your wife, you might have more liberal language where it's at her sole discretion, right? I left $300,000 in the life in the trust for you. You can use it as you see fit. We call it ascertainable standards or HIMSS, health, education, maintenance, and support. You can come to the trust and get any kind of money you want out of it. It's $300,000. You can use it at your sole discretion.
Yes.
Right. So when people come looking for answers, like how do I make it more detailed or how can I make it more strict? It's really on you and about the asset that you're leaving behind and who you're leaving the asset to. It's really going to be a personality type thing.
Absolutely.
You're looking at their disposition. You know if they're good with money or not. You know if they're with somebody with undue influence over them. You know if they're going to blow the money or not. And if it's your asset, you're saying, well, look, I'm only going to allow them to use money for X, Y, and Z.
Yes, sir. So a trust. Why is it called a living trust? And do a trust go to probate?
Nope. Trust do not go to probate court. It's a private document between you and your assets. So the reason why trusts don't go to probate, the same reason why all wills must go to probate. All wills go to probate because you die with everything in your individual name. What a trust does, there's 4 components of a trust. There's a trust maker, or they call it a trustor or settlor, or just trust maker, just to make it layman's terms.
Yes,
One who makes a trust. Then there's the second component of a trust, which is the grantor, the one who grants assets in the name of the trust. Right? So you're the one that's going to be putting assets. My home, my life insurance policy will be beneficiary of the trust. My retirement account will be beneficiary on death will go to the trust. My money, my business, you're just basically retitling or appointing all of your assets to the name of your trust. That's the grantor. So you make the trust, the framework, you make the box, then you start putting all your assets out of your individual name into the name of your box, right? And then you name yourself as the first manager of that box of assets. You're the trustee. You're the first trustee. So trust maker, grantor is the one who gives everything to the trust. And then you make yourself the manager of those assets while you are living. That's why it's called a living trust.
Yes,
so
sir.
Managing the assets while you're living. You're the trustee of the trust. And you also become the first beneficiary of those assets in the trust that you're managing. So basically, you got everything in your left hand as an individual. All you're doing is make a name of your trust, whatever that is, and put everything in your right hand. And now you're just managing your life as a trustee of your trust that you put your assets in that you benefit from. So nothing is in your individual name anymore. So when you die and go into the ground, you don't own anything.
Right.
Trust does. So the trust don't have to go to probate court because it already owns your assets.
And it's still living.
But now your assets belong to the beneficiaries that you already named. Yeah. And the trust will tell them, based on your instructions, how they are to receive those assets moving forward.
And that settles all arguments between family members and everything. It should.
Well, they can come argue with you at your grave, but they ain't gonna change nothing.
Right. So everything that's in there that's it. Okay. So I guess it depends on who you set as a beneficiary. Like, when is the trust read? But everybody already know what's in there.
Every 3 months.
It's no secret. Yeah, I got it.
That's right. That's why we bring the family together. For every 3 months, everybody understands what the assets are, who the beneficiaries are, what their roles and responsibilities are. So it's really not, it's really no surprises.
There's no surprises. And it's secure. It makes one secure too, bro.
Yes. So people, even if 2 years pass by in your own life, right? And you have adult children, they have their own life. To come and read something to them, it's like, oh, I didn't know you had that. Oh, you got, so it's just like, we'd rather just keep it going every 3 months, even with your wife. Like, she has to know what's going on. Because if you predecease her, she needs to understand, okay, this is what needs to happen, roles and responsibilities. For us, the wives champion the trust. They love it because, okay, now I know what's going on. If anything happened to him, I know what's going on. I know what to do. Nobody can come tell me anything different. Right? And even the children, your adult children, most of y'all not as tech savvy as your adult children. And so once they get the email of inventory, of list of inventory on, it's just a quick, okay, cool. 20 items. I know where it is. I know how much they are. I know what dad want me to do with them.
Right.
So it makes it very easy for them to kind of take better care of you and understand what's going on as well.
And we're dealing with when we have some of these meetings, we're dealing with the financial status of the family, and then as we're growing, we implement different assets that we acquire, different businesses, and as the family grows and as the business grows, according to the vision that we have, we're adding and instituting as we go on.
Yeah, Brother Ahmed, you kind of get into my wheelhouse now.
Okay.
Okay, so any other trust questions? Because the trust question, like I told y'all, the trust is not even, you're just at home plate. You just stepping up to swing the bat.
Right.
The trust is just the beginning. It really is. The trust is just the beginning. That's one. And there's 100 more things we got to talk about.
Okay.
Man,
can we ask the sister question in the notes?
Sir.
She had a will question.
Mhm.
Can we ask the sister question? All right. I was asking you, but Jackie, is it all right? We asked that question.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, go ahead, bro.
It says, I have a question. My brother was married with minor children. He didn't have a will or family house. Our family house was left in his name, and he passed away. His wife doesn't want the house, but she won't give it back to the family. She is letting the house sit and go down and the property tax build up. Is there a way that I could pay the taxes and get the property back before it forecloses, or would I have to wait until it forecloses and sells for the back taxes?
That situation times that probably by 1 million. That's what's been happening to us for the last 20, 30, 40 years. There's no clear ownership of the property.
Mm.
And so even if your loved one wants to pay for the taxes, she will not own the property. She's just paying for the taxes for somebody else to own the property.
Wow.
So the brother passed away. The children so if there are minor children, the children cannot inherit anything because they're minors.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why she probably don't want the children to inherit as minors is because the wife would then be the guardian of that asset, which she is.
Mm.
Yes.
So now you're saying, I'm going to go pay taxes on an asset that I will never own, but I just don't want to see it go to waste. So it's grieving the second death, right? I'm grieving my brother. Now I got to grieve slowly as his assets deteriorate and be lost.
Wow.
And all of a sudden, the children have to start over again.
Mm.
Wow.
So, so now that's probate administration. Died without, we call it intestate. Her brother died intestate. Now, a lot of people, raised him up in paradise. He died intestate. So that's meaning died with no will at all. So state law says if he was married to her, she has 50% undivided interest in this estate. The minor children have 50% undivided interest in the estate as well.
That could take 2 years, and if you go to fighting it could take years. And
well, I don't think she can do is go buy. But the children are minors, so
yeah,
yeah. So okay, so basically what happened in probate court, the judge will require the children to have an ad litem, guardian ad litem appointed. That's about $2,500. The guardian ad litem is there to protect the interests of the children, of the minor children. The ex-wife will have 50% ownership interest in the estate as well. So say for instance, she goes and say, I'm gonna give you $100,000 to buy you out. So the ex-wife will get $100,000. The guardian ad litem would then put the money aside for the minor children, either in a registry or give it to them through their guardian, which is the mother.
Wow. Wow. But so that's just an example of why we
Yeah.
need a trust. And even if you're not sick, like if you're a person you don't feel like you might not feel like you're finna pass. At what point, when should a person do a trust or a will? When should you?
So what we're doing a lot of now is like it's summer, so most of our graduates, 2023 high school graduates, they are going to college, right?
Yes, sir.
So estate planning starts then. So when your child turns 18 and they open up their first bank account, who's the beneficiary on debt? When they go off to college and they're 18, do you have a medical power of attorney that names the parent? Because you're not the parent anymore legally. On the legal side, you're still a parent, but they're 18, they're adults. So if something happens, you would literally have to request, permission from them to actually see their medical records.
Right.
Or speak on their behalf at the hospital.
Right.
And are you their financial power of attorney? Well, it really starts right then and there. And not only that, we see 18-year-olds signing up for credit cards, signing contracts. So you can legally sign a credit card or contract at 18.
Yes, sir.
So if you're doing estate planning and you're having these quarterly meetings, hey, don't sign anything. Send it to me. I'll be your power of attorney when it comes to anything financial, right? Credit cards, leases. This is a huge thing. Those type of things. It starts then, right?
Yes, sir.
It starts at 18. You have to start your kids at 18. Okay, I'm the beneficiary on your account. So if something happens to you, I'm the beneficiary. I might even be on your account to make sure that nothing untoward goes on. I'm your financial power of attorney. I'm your medical power of attorney, et cetera, et cetera. So you're familiarizing your children, your young adults, with that language. So they start then and there. As for parents, before we talked about men have to come into the relationship even before the 18-year-old becomes 18 with the wife or with whomever they're pursuing. These are the plans, right?
Yes, sir.
When you really start estate planning, when you're building your estate, I'm looking at a wife. I'm looking at a prospective wife. I want to marry this wife. Okay, I marry this wife. I want to have children. Oh, all right, you want to have children, young children. You should be estate planning vigorously as soon as you get married.
Wow.
Why do we say that, right? All right, you get married, you buy a house, car, probably have 1 or 2 children.
Yes, sir.
That's the most vulnerable state for any family to be in. It's a lot forbid anything happens to either one of them. What is the assurance that they can maintain the lifestyle that they had, that they built together?
Yes, sir.
And then you have 18 more years or 19 or people, whatever, however the minor child is, to get them to the point to where they are a sufficient adult.
Wow.
So you should be planning. So if somebody's coming to talk to y'all daughters or sons, that conversation should be happening right then and there. Do your parents have life insurance? Because if y'all get together, me and my wife, we have life insurance. Our son has a truck. He's good. But if he decides to go talk to somebody else, I gotta ask that young lady. Let me talk to your parents. Do y'all have life insurance? Why would you ask that? Because the families come together, the children have kids. Both grandparents, says the grandparents, that's your grandchildren.
Right.
No matter what your kids do, if they stay together, those are still your grandchildren.
Right.
And guess what your grandchildren are going to grow up and do? Give you some great grandchildren.
Right.
And so now you're looking at families and their financial situations. It's going to vastly affect the quality of life.
Mm.
Oh yeah, bro. Wow.
So we know, okay, and I 63% divorce rate in our community, right? That's the numbers. I ain't make it up.
Yes, sir.
So they might have some children. 63, they might get divorced, but as long as the benefits are in the trust, it doesn't affect your child's financial future at all. Financial future at all. Hey, y'all might, that's still my grandbaby. I don't care what y'all do.
Right.
But that's my grandbaby. I school paid for. He has a nice trust fund. He come fishing with granddad whenever he wants to.
That's right.
Man, bro. Now you really,
$1 away. I'm throwing. I ain't don't come. Just bring me my grandbaby.
man, you painted a big picture then.
Right.
Man, so you got both sides of the family, both leaving the trust to the grandchild.
Yeah, or just leaving an inheritance in trust.
In trust, yeah, in the trust. Yeah, I mean, but either way, this is, you know, it's so many. Oh wow, this man, we so far behind. And we playing catch up.
No, we're not behind when it comes to families, right? We're just we keep taking losses because we're not planning for eventualities.
Yes, sir.
We know. I mean, we know 63% divorce rate. We know. We know. Like for us, for African Americans, we're men really leading cause of death. You know, shortest lifespan,
Yeah.
and number one in chronic illnesses. And so we should be planning early for life insurance because the older we get, the more likely that we would not qualify for life insurance later on.
Yes,
So
sir.
the earlier you get it, you got it, so they can't take it from you. See what I'm saying?
Yes,
So
sir.
you qualify earlier. Not only that, we should be investing earlier in life because we should be replacing life insurance with our investment and not trust. So we often tell our clients, this is just one strategy that we give our clients. Yes, we want life insurance, of course, especially for young adults, especially for younger people, because the earlier you get life insurance, the more you can get for the cheaper premium, right?
Yes, sir.
Then if anything happens with a chronic illness later on, you're already covered. So you say, for instance, you get a chronic illness later on, and you can't get life insurance anymore, you already have it. But we want to have that life insurance for sure because it does two things. It covers the family for the most precarious ages, minor children, young wife, brand new house, high mortgage, everything is kind of in debt. So you get a high face amount of your life insurance. Let's say $1 million, right? If you're a couple 21, 25. Both couples have $1 million, maybe costing $20, $30 a month. Second thing we do, once you have a baby, you're on the clock. So now we're on the clock. We know in 17 years that baby gonna have a prom, car, college.
Right.
So you already know that. So
Right.
now, yeah. So now you have to start planning for your money now to meet those problems or those bills in the future.
Yes, sir.
The faster you start investing, and this is assuming you have a trust, right? Because we want to have a trust because the object is we want to use life insurance as assurance, meaning that if anything happens to me between now and the time my child is 30 years old, I'm assuring that my child will be financially free by getting a huge life insurance policy, $1 million face value, right?
Yes, sir.
Life insurance as assurance. We also want to start investing $200, $100, whatever the family can afford a month in an investment fund under the trust so it can grow at the same rate as your child is growing. So when your child needs those big purchases, they just come to the trust 25 years later.
Okay. Now that might have went over some heads. Okay. You said an investment fund in the trust.
So okay, let me just put it like this. Just to get most of y'all have 401ks, 401(b)s, TSPs, etc.
Yes,
you
sir.
put money in there every pay period.
Yes, sir.
Everybody's stuff grows, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So now you just do a 30-year plan for your child. You take some money out of your check, put it in an investment account, and let it grow for 30 years. But you do that every month.
Yes, sir.
Every pay, or however you want to do it. So now that your fund and that fund is under, or let's just say it's a trust fund, it's under the name of the trust, and the beneficiary is your child.
Yes, sir.
So that money will meet your child the same way you're saving up for retirement for 30 years.
Yes, sir.
If you put enough money in that account for 30 years, guess what your child will be able to do in 30 years?
Right.
Retire right along with you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Man, wow.
We're gonna go to commercial before you ask another question. It's 8:00, man. Jock Nation, man. This is a lot of information. This is very important information, Jock Nation. I'm telling you, go back and watch this film again. All right, brother Kawhi.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Once again, thank you for tuning in to Jock Brothers Presents Let Us Make Man. Man, a beautiful show. I never heard nothing like this before in my life. And I'm so happy that between Brother Jack and Brother Ahmed, they was able to lock down this beautiful brother here with this wonderful information. But as well, as you know, again, we the Jock Brothers. We again appreciate everyone that has donated or intend to donate to the Jock Brothers platform. As you can see, there's a cash app at the bottom of the screen. Well, we had some initiatives going on in which we was trying to help out our community in different ways, such as the prison initiative, such as investing in our youth entrepreneurship. And so we will be revisiting those initiatives real soon. So please support the Jock Brothers in those endeavors. Again, our Cash App information is scrolling at the bottom of the screen, $ JAKQBROS. As you know, the Jock Brothers, we're all business owners. And we ask that we got to support each other. And we have businesses I think you can most definitely benefit in. Myself in particular, well, let's go. I am a realtor. I just did my first closing with my first Muslim couple yesterday.
Alhamdulillah.
First, praise be to Allah, and so that made 7 in all since I have been in this industry. So please continue to support me and my endeavors as I intend to grow in the real estate market. But you can reach me 404-671-5681. I really and truly try to make your experience very comfortable, very fun. Next brother that has a business, my brother, brother Ahmed. Brother's an author. I aspire to be an author just like him one day. His brother's writing children books that identify with our community. This book right here is Belied the Bullies. You can get this book, as you can see, the way you can get this book is www.bipublishing.com, or you can simply go to Amazon. Anything you want to add to that, Brother Ahmed?
When you go to the website, it directs you to Amazon. And there's also a coloring book as well.
Yes, and when you have your next book coming out, Brother Ahmed?
July.
2 more months for his next publication. Praise be to Allah. Support our brother. Support our brother. I don't see many children books. Support our brothers. And last but not least, our brother Jackie Muhammad has a business in supreme waste removal. Talk about it, brother Jackie.
No, brother, that's your job right now. But but if you need dumpster service, we have 20-yard or 30-yard or 40-yarders in the Atlanta metro area. We service both residential and commercial. If you need our services, please don't hesitate to call that number 404-957-7639. That's for any dumpster service, roofing, whatever you need to haul off. We'll drop a dumpster off, pick it up, give you a good price for it, and tell us that you saw it on Jock Brothers.
That's right. Hey man, we don't talk Jock Brothers. We do Jock Brothers. With that being said, let's get back to the show, Brother Jackie. On you.
Yes, sir. Okay, so Brother Ishmael, you said that the trust is really the beginning.
Yeah, the trust is the trust is exactly what it is a document. So once that gets started, so now it's the execution and implementation of your family strategy. And that's what we have every quarter. We have the family strategy meetings, or trust meetings, or trust strategy meetings. So now that I know y'all got these businesses, now I can start talking some real examples now.
Yes, sir.
We got IP with the publishing, that's intellectual property. We have Kawhi, it's in the service side. Will you be doing Brother Kawhi, will you be doing some investing as well? You plan on getting into real estate investing in the near future?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay, so then we got you. Then we got supreme waste removal. So we got business.
But since you're talking about that, I mean, you elaborate on it right now.
Yeah, go ahead. What was the question?
Well, I mean, I got some stuff going on now, but were you addressing that right now in terms of how trust can help it?
Right. So
Okay.
So all those are individually, you have individual ownership interest in your business, right? And we always start with the family dynamic because that's going to tell me who you're trying to take care of, who you're trying to provide for, right?
Yes, sir.
So that's the family dynamic. The assets are the how you want to take care of them. The assets will be life insurance, businesses, real estate portfolio, investment portfolio, the IP, all those things. So we're going to look at every asset that you own and put a strategy or instructions attached to the asset, instructions attached to those assets, every last one of them. And that's going to be the family strategy that you use to take care of your beneficiaries moving forward. So the who is the family, the assets are the how, or the what's from is the what they're going to use to take care of themselves. In your instructions attached to those assets will dictate who the beneficiaries are and how you take care of them moving forward. So now we go like one asset is like IP, right? We got Bayard Publishing, so he has books. That's IP, and so now it's like who owns that IP moving forward after him?
Right.
And what's the split if there's multiple beneficiaries?
Right.
Who runs the company after him?
Right.
But he owns 100. I would assume it's an LLC, and he owns 100% ownership interest in it. I mean, he owns 100%. Is it a single member LLC?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Tom Hagen. Go ahead.
El Capo. El Capo, brother.
It's a single member LLC, meaning that he has 100% ownership interest in the LLC.
Right.
So once he get his trust, he will simply do an assignment of interest to the name of his trust.
Come on, man.
Once he does the assignment of interest to the name of the trust, remember every asset that goes into the trust must be attached by instructions that he writes.
Right.
The instructions say how this asset is to be used, distributed, managed, and maintained moving forward, and who the beneficiaries are.
Right.
So now you can split up. Now all the proceeds for the LLC going into the trust, but the trust already got how is to be split up to the beneficiaries. So no guessing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Go ahead, brother.
Okay, so I'm trying to understand you right. Listen, we're taking Ahmed as an example. He put his publishing in a trust.
No. He has an LLC already.
LLC.
And that owns the intellectual property, which are the books.
Right.
So it's LLC. He has an operating LLC already, and he's doing business as his LLC, which owns his intellectual property.
Right.
So the LLC owns his LLC owns it.
Yeah. So he put the LLC in the trust.
He puts his ownership interest of the LLC into the trust.
He puts the
Say that again, bro. Say that again.
So the LLC, everybody, you got an LLC is a single member.
Right.
So his operating agreement in his LLC says he's 100% owner of this LLC, him individually.
Right.
He individually owns the LLC, 100%.
Yeah.
The LLC owns his IP.
Right.
So the LLC owns the IP. He owns the LLC.
Right.
Individually, 100%.
Right.
He just then takes we'll call it an assignment of interest form and signs over his individual ownership of the of his LLC, the name of his trust.
Jackie Muhammad.
That's cool because we're going to break down the supreme waste right now. I'm waiting on that.
So
my name on there.
the LLC will continue to operate. As long as it continue to operate. But if it ever has to be dissolved or the business stops and proceeds, profits come into the LLC is owned by the trust, so the proceeds then pass through the LLC into the name of the trust, and he's already got his beneficiaries named about how they are to split up that profit.
Perfect.
So,
That's perfect.
so this does two things. So God forbid some of the beneficiaries of the trust predecease him,
Mm-hmm.
and then he passes away before he has a chance to change anything.
Mm-hmm.
The trust is already there, and those benefits will probably go to the remaining beneficiaries.
You're gonna have to pull out the whiteboard, brother. You're gonna have to pull out the whiteboard.
You should have a Zoom. You're gonna have a Zoom.
That's a good idea. Pull out the whiteboard because I'm over here like stuck, bro.
Oh no, I understand it. I understand it. And,
Okay, let's go to the real estate. Let's go to the real estate. The real estate. So okay, so you're gonna buy some you're gonna have some investment properties, right?
Right.
All right. And I do real estate too. So I love it. All right. So your investment properties are owned by your LLC.
Right.
All right. Will you have a single member LLC or a multi-member, meaning that
Single member.
so you ain't let nobody in. Okay, cool. So, single member LLC owns the real estate.
his wife ain't getting nothing.
Exactly.
Well, there's nobody in that room right there. So,
Any sisters watching this? Please,
no,
They ain't getting nothing. They like Bernie Man, you can get nothing.
so I'm not a good example.
No, you're a good example. You're a good example. No, they just joking. So LLC owns the real estate.
Yes, sir.
So you own the LLC individually 100%.
Right.
So when you do your estate plan or your trust, you would just assign your 100% ownership of the LLC to the name of your trust.
beneficiary.
Beneficiary.
No, the trust has a name.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't think we went into that. Like,
yeah. So it'll be the Brother Kawhi and wife trust.
Okay, right.
Kawhi and wife trust.
Okay.
We're gonna give you a wife.
Yeah. Come on, Tom. Go ahead.
hey, pretty soon you're gonna be saying, brother, I got one client. Job brothers. I just got the job brother. Well, we need to keep you, bro, because man, I'm telling you, you got some information.
Yes.
So you're gonna name your trust, but then that's where your estate will settle. It's a kind of term we use. Your estate will settle in your trust. And remember, in your trust, you're the trustee and the first beneficiary, but you have to name a successive trustee, a successor manager that you hand the baton to when you pass away.
I got you. Okay.
And also, you have to name successive beneficiaries. So your 100% ownership of the LLC goes into the trust. You will dictate how that asset is to be used, distributed, managed, maintained, and who the beneficiaries will be, and what the share will be as well. So your beneficiaries don't have to figure it out. They're just like, what did he leave me? It's like,
Right.
Oh, he left me, 50% of the LLC. He left you 50% of the LLC's profits.
So the number one benefit of the trust is no court involved. It's simply just execute upon your termination, right?
Right.
All right. That's the number one benefit.
That's the number one benefit when it comes from the estate planning side, right? That's the number one benefit. So I'm gonna show you the other benefit of the trust. So now that you understand, so you got rental property, you got money coming into the LLC every month, right?
Right.
All right. So you say, well, now we're gonna get into some instructions. Well, look, I got 5 properties. I'm cash flowing $200 per property, right? And it's going into my LLC. After I pass away, I want my trust will already own the LLC, and I want it to continue to collect the rents, but the rents now come to my LLC. I'm sorry, the rents now come to the name of my trust, and my trust is collecting those rents.
Yeah.
Your beneficiaries, now we're going to do a 20-year lockup on your estate when it comes to the LLC and those properties. So that money is to be invested, all $1,000 a month to be invested for the next 20 years. and then after the 20-year lockup, you then disperse money to your grandchildren or great grandchildren.
Now that's generational wealth.
Wow.
That's generational wealth, bro.
Wow.
And just think though, if two families, have the same grandchild, and two families decide to leave something to the same grandchild, and I mean, you talking about wealth, man. That's beautiful.
So when he was saying that's the most important piece is the bar of probate, but the second, if not the most important piece of the trust, people die, assets don't.
No, assets don't.
So
People die.
you're going to pass away, but your children and your children's children will still be here, and that asset will still be here.
Right. Wow.
If you plan for the life cycle of the asset, it will far outseed the needs of your family in the future.
Right. This is sir.
This is, man.
One thing you mentioned before, if say you have a house that you're still paying for, but you want to leave it to your family paid for, and you gave us a strategy on how to do that.
Right.
Would you like to talk about that?
Yeah. So that's a great asset. And when I say the trust is just the first thing, now we're talking about trust strategy and family strategy, because now you say, okay, well, how can I leave these assets to my family free and clear? Right.
Yes,
so
sir.
Now we get into trust strategy, which is what we really need to be talking about.
Okay.
So,
yes.
Let's stay on. Let's stay with the brother. He got 5 properties. They all have mortgages on them, but he's still cash flowing $200 after he pays the mortgages, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, look, these properties are probably worth $750,000 total on the mortgages. So now, when I get the properties, I know I want to pay these mortgages off, so I have to get the commensurate amount of life insurance of the mortgages.
Yeah.
So if I go out, the house is paid off. So I use my life insurance to cover the mortgages that I have on the properties. So when I pass away, I tell my trust, this life insurance policy is going to my trust. My trust is directed to pay off these mortgages, and the houses are free and clear.
Yes, sir. Still do a 20-year lockup. That's a strategy you can do. Yes, sir.
Or you can liquidate all the properties so you get $1 million out of it. This is the beautiful part. Really and truly, if we try to get all our clients to $1 million in trust.
Right.
Because that's really generational wealth. You get $1 million in trust through life insurance, real estate, whatever the case, retirement, whatever the case may be. You get $1 million in trust. We invest that money into like BOO or a secured investment or annuity, whatever the case may be. And you live off the interest. If it's 6%, that's $60,000 a year. If it's 10%, that's $100,000 a year.
Investing $1 million. Investing $1 million.
Never touch the principal, only live off the interest. And then if you have a wife, y'all living off the 10% interest of $1 million, that's $100,000 a year. If you predecease her, she has $100,000 a year till she pass away. Then after she pass away, the money's just going to whoever's next in line.
Yes.
All your beneficiaries are. They get $1 million a year just for waking up with your last name. I mean, $100,000 a year for waking up with your last name.
That strategy there, man, that is awesome right there, bro.
Right.
I mean,
but he have so many more. So we need to put your information out here, dear brother. Want to make sure that for those. So do you service outside of Georgia? What do you service?
We do trust in all 50 states.
Trust in all 50 states. So
we're partial to California, Hawaii, and California.
All right.
So we're partial. We'll travel to those for our clients. We'll travel to those areas.
Yes, sir.
Particularly Miami or LA and Hawaii. We'll travel to those. Yeah, we love our
clients. Yes, sir. I'm from Florida. Okay. So this is the best contact information you would like out? This
I would like to let's see, how can I get that link? I should have sent you another link, but that's fine. Yeah, just send me a either shoot me a text. We'll send. We do free consultations, so
Okay.
just shoot me a text at that number and ask for a free consultation. I'll shoot you back a link so you can schedule your free consultation.
Absolutely.
And make sure you just mention the Jock Brothers.
Yes,
Y'all should give them some cash outs, $5, $10, $20. We're really getting into a planning session, which is $1,500. The strategies I'm giving y'all right now, people pay very dearly. I mean, I'll show you how to make $1 million for your kids. They pay a whole lot for that. So
absolutely. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm giving this to Jack Brothers exclusively. So y'all literally getting a wealth planning session right now.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. So is there anything that we need to bring to a consultation? Should we have anything in place before a consultation or during the consultation? You'll let us know.
So that we have a 4-step process. And I told you earlier, we changed up the way we did business with our community.
Mm-hmm.
Free education call. That's first and foremost. You're going to get a free consultation call. We call it an education call. We just want to hear where you are. Like, what do you need? What do you need questions about? If you have any questions about anything, any clarity that you need, that's a 30-minute consultation.
Yes, sir.
And if we can help, if you want to move forward with us, the second step is what we call a wealth planning session. The wealth planning session is going to last about 1.5 hours to 2 hours long. We get down to the granular detail of the entire life cycle. We talk about the family 360, your parents, husband, wife, husband, children, grandchildren. We literally talk about all 4 generations, about where you are with it, what you're doing, what you're trying to do, how you're going to implement it. We're going to give you trust design during that meeting. Basically, at the end of that meeting, your trust will be designed. We go from burial all the way back to where we are today, right? Mm-hmm. Every detail will be discussed. Trust strategy will be discussed. At the end of that meeting, you'll have a trust design. Then and only then do you decide if you're going to hire us or not. Wow. At the end of that meeting. The reason why we do that is because why hire us if you don't know what you're going to get? Again, our whole goal is to educate and empower. So if we educate you through that trust design meeting, that wealth planning session, you then know, okay, this is what I need. This is where I'm lacking. This is what I need to do, et cetera, et cetera. So if you walk away and say, well, I'm not going to hire y'all, but I will implement insurance. I will implement some investments. That helps one other Black family for us, right? If you do decide to hire us, we'll be happy to do, design a trust. And then after we design a trust and draft a trust, 3 months after that, we have our first family or trust meeting, right? And so we start implementing all the strategies that we said we're going to implement. So yes. Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, your family should be, by the third meeting, most families are like off and running.
Right.
They put their money into the fund. Everybody got life insurance. Everybody understands the roles and responsibilities when it comes to the trust. Families will start to accumulate more assets based on the strategies that they decide to move forward with. So it's really by that third quarterly meeting, the families are really like,
locked in, right?
They're locked in. Especially, I'm telling you, if I got teenage children, if they come to it, they're gonna run y'all record with that. Okay, because they can read them numbers every quarter. Hey, look, hey, you said you're gonna get some more insurance. Why didn't you get more? $250 back every month. You ain't doing it. And that's why we love young couples, because they have more runway, and then we can actually guarantee them mathematically that their children will be financially free at a certain age if they continue to do what they're supposed to do.
All right.
Wow.
This went quick for me. I really enjoyed this meeting, bro. I'm telling you, man. You really, when me and Brother Warren, we went to the event and listened to you and your wife explain, what you do and what we can do, man. Our minds was blown.
Yeah. It's really simple. I mean, it's I know it's new, but
right.
It's really simple. Really simple. Because you think about it, if you pass away and your trust lives on, but the habits that you have, that you instilled in your family, they continue to do them, your family will be financially free one day. And I can say that's going to be based on how much you invest in every month. So it's just math. It becomes math. That's what I'm saying. It really is very simple. Once we get the trust and we do the math and you do what you're supposed to do every month, because I see everybody license on. If we on the phone, so y'all paying bills,
Right.
Pay your family first.
Right.
Pay for your children's financial freedom first every month.
All right, Jock Nation, you heard that. So we at the end of the meeting, brother. Would you like to give us some last words? You like to give the guests any last words, but give us some closing words, there, brother.
What we tell all our clients is, man, and we get this reaction all the time, right? Or we tell people, hey, don't have cerebral orgasms. Execute. Call us. We're here. We're here. If you're hearing my voice, I promise you're not going to hear this anywhere else. And if you hear it anywhere else, you're going to pay thousands of dollars for it. Yes, we're giving it to you for free. You don't even have to hire us. You know what I'm saying? We ain't into that. We do very well.
Yes,
we are mission-based and for our community and our community only. So if you want to call us, get the free consultation, call us, but execute on it. Don't wait another day, because we don't want families losing generational wealth because we give you the generational knowledge. You just have to execute with your family. That's all you have to do.
Preach, bro.
Absolutely. Preach, bro. Absolutely. Thank you, brother Ishmael. Thank you, brother Kawi. Any final words?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. First of all, thank you, brother Ishmael, for coming on. I mean, the information that you gave us. I mean, brother Jackie was excited about it Saturday when I heard from him. And also brother Ogman, they were super excited about it, and we didn't want to waste any time trying to wait till you was available to come to our show. So if we seemed a little pushy to you, so what? It was worth
it. Some consultation calls happening and some trust happening. So
I know that's right.
I'm gonna push y'all towards that too.
Praise be to Allah. I mean, in this generation of talk, then this is what I was looking at what Coming to America Part 2, and I guess in that movie, like Eddie Murphy got his son, and they was trying to educate him on family history, and he was like, "This is Jaffer, and this is Jaffer," and they went down like 5 generations to him, right? This is how we can be that first Jaffer, right? That we can set ourselves up that our great grandchildren, their grandchildren say, man, how do we get this? How we living like this? Mm-hmm. Well, they can say, oh, brother Kawi, he's the one that got to start, and then his son kept it going, and then this is what I heard, and I like I haven't heard it like this before. I heard wills, I heard life insurance policies, like we in the first generation of actually doing that. Now you're taking it to a whole nother level to trust, and so I really like it. I don't know much about it except for what you told me today, but it's definitely something I know that I need to get into a little deeper. So thank you for coming to the show and cracking Adams and enlightening us to what you've been doing. Assalamu alaikum.
I'll pray to the Lord.
All right, brother Ahmed, you're muted, sir.
Well, let me start by saying I like to thank Allah for putting you both in positions to be free financially to help the community. That's huge. The generation that you and your wife are in is a generation that benefited from blessings, from knowledge and information that grew out of want and need. And now you are blessed. And the fact that you're giving back is not a lot of brothers and sisters in your generation that say, hey, I could be working for a Fortune 500 company. We could be living in Buckhead and just dealing with companies in that area. No, we've been blessed. We're going back to our community to help preserve a culture and invest back into our people. You are applauded, brother, by me. Just hearing your story. And we didn't even really get into who you are, how old you are, how long you've been in the business. Usually, Brother Jackie would dive all into that.
Yeah.
So we could really know you and what you went through and why you're doing this. What's your passion? And we really like to get into that, but there was so much information that we really just had to get into. So believe you me, we definitely going to be calling on you again if you would give us that platform to come back so our audience, us, and we all can really embrace you. And we want to get you all the business that we can get to you. We want to empower our people with this knowledge and this information. We are all youth mentors, all of us you see on the screen. So we deal with young Black men from 5 years old to 16 years old. And then after they come to us for information, we have to be able to give it to them. Or if we can't give it to them, direct them. So we're looking at 5-year-olds in 10 years, they're 15. In 10 years, they're 20. And they're looking at us and they're a product of what we are giving them. So when we invite brothers like yourself and your wife on the show, this is something that's in our hearts because we are community-based, community mission like yourself. So, I mean, there's so much more I want to say, brother, and I just applaud you for the work that you're doing, and may Allah continue to bless you.
Amen. Thank you, brother.
Yes, sir. Likewise, dear brother, you and your wife, thank you for being examples of those who go out and get knowledge and come back and share it with the community. Useful knowledge that, man, if you heard that, Jock, if you heard him right, Jock Nation, he says they strive to build every living trust up to 1 million. I'm going to say it again. He said that their strategy is to build the living trust up to 1 million. So definitely we want to be a part of that. We want to make sure our children and our grandchildren, the generation coming behind us is well taken care of as best we can. And that way, one brother told me, he said, Brother Jackie, you know why you don't really know your grandfathers? I said, why? He said, because they didn't leave you nothing. That's exactly what he told me. He said that you don't really know your grandparents because they didn't leave you nothing. So if you want to be remembered, if you want to have a legacy, this is one way that you can do it. This is an organized way. I remember me and Brother Ahmed having this conversation. I think when I started my business, he was like, yeah, man, but if something happened to you now, your wife's going to be looking around like what to do and this and that. And it was just had my wheels turning since that conversation. So then hearing you answer the prayer. So it was like, okay, now we can organize it. Everybody can look at it. My children can look at it. And we can see exactly what's going on. So definitely we working on putting that together, Brother Ishmael. Did you have something you wanted to say, sir?
Yeah, so two things. Life insurance. All y'all got businesses. Your business can pay for your life insurance or key man insurance. So y'all should have life insurance for sure.
Yes, sir.
That's the first thing. Because it dawned on me, okay, like what can I do? I can get some life insurance, right?
Yes, sir.
And the second thing, let's get the trust started for your family. Let's not delay. And if you need life insurance, we're licensed insurance agents as well. So we can give you a quote so you know what you'll be paying, or you can go somewhere else and get it. It doesn't matter, but we want you to get it, especially as the business owners. That should be a business expense for your business.
Absolutely.
Because some people I can't get it because it's costing. Well, that's just a business expense, having life insurance. If you don't have it, get it. So that's the next step. Consultations. I'll just sign up for a consultation, and then we'll go from there. We're not coming back unless y'all got to trust.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it.
No, the reason being is because once you get into it, you be like, okay, you'll be able to explain better than me why it's important for you.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Because once y'all have the trust, okay, I got my trust. I'm saving up, I got my fund going where I'm saving money. Me and my wife are saving money in this fund. We have life insurance that goes into the trust just in case I don't make it in 30 years. $1 million going into the trust fund. That $1 million won't be touched. They're invested when I'm gone. They'll live off the 10% moving forward. 10, 6, whatever the percentage is, right? So we're not just saying, we're not just saying this. We want people getting trust. And once you get a trust, I know your children will be taken care of. And that's more blessings for us. We chasing blessings. We ain't chasing money. We chasing them blessings. So we need y'all to bless us by getting these trusts done and by blessing your family. We'll be blessed for that.
Absolutely. Well, you heard that, Jock Nation. You heard it first here on Jock Brothers. Want to thank you once again for tuning in every week. 7 o'clock, Tuesday at 7. Jock Brothers. All right, we're going to keep it Messiah. Let's go, engineer.
Where we going?
Oh, man. Where we going?